Over to you, John.
Thank you. I'm going to try and stick to 21 seconds. It might go very fast. Okay. So yeah, I work for Roast, head of paid media. I'm going to try and cover three things very, very swiftly. Options improving your media decisions, just how can you actually understand how best to use it. Addressing some of the unique barriers that travel faces in terms of how to get around that problem that we all face. And then also how do you sort of amplify performance outside of that area. So first things first is sort of complementary targeting techniques. Everyone likes to join up strategy. We'd like to launch email and TV and press at the same time. With paid media, actually, we can go more than that. We can actually, within the channels, recognise where there's overlap and amplify it by that means, like making sure we're talking to the same audiences at the same time in the same way. So here, for example, are three of the different channels in paid media, and there's more targeting options than this, obviously, for each one, but this is where they overlap. So whenever you're planning a campaign, map in your head where they all touch the same people over and over again. So you can start planning for that. You can start actually amplifying it beyond just uplift of spend when we've got TV on, for example. What do we do with that? First point's pretty obvious. Second point is really taking it to the next step. Start helping customers understand who you are, what you're offering, push them towards your site, towards your assets, towards conversion. And then the final point is actually you get more interesting data if you're looking at them as an audience rather than a channel. Mapping and deploying media. So this bit's got the one graph, so apologies for that. So we've got a lot of moving parts in travel. A lot of things are changing. When do we actually want to deploy our media? When do we do it most intelligently? When do we sort of react to the fact that we've got a very, very brutally stark shelf life? Once that ship sailed, that plane's flown, that's it, game over. You can't sell it again. You can't slap a discount on it. So this is an example from a cruise client. So he thinks months 1 to 12, departure in 12. They also want to fill up their inventory. They want to do it as quickly as possible, as profitably as possible. But they've got an issue in that real sort of acceleration comes in months 9 and 11, leaves them very vulnerable to a downturn in the economy, exchange rate changes. If they have a crap quarter, they're in trouble. Why is this? Because they align it to the search volume. That's when all their marketing was weighted, their display, their search, paid search especially. They were therefore fighting with everyone else with high CPCs, high CPAs in that period. The other thing with travel we've got to factor into this is we've got a very dynamic margin. You know, the further away from departure, the higher your margin. And that can change depending on how your business is run, how you negotiate your deals. We start trying to get as many sales in that front section as possible. Reduce the reliance on this quarter here. Think of any of your major products, apply it to that. What did we start doing for these guys? We started making sure that actually we weren't waiting for the market to come to us. We weren't getting involved in that scrap with everyone else. We were front-loading the media, using those more prospective channels, not for just direct acquisition, but also to actually start fueling our remarketing lists. So then when it comes to the peak, we've got a very, very refined remarketing list, lookalike setup, things like that. So actually you can make more efficient decisions in that period. This is probably the hardest thing about travel, is that we've all had that email from our CEO or from me as from a client saying, hey, look, we need to sell Dubai holidays at Easter, just do it. Go and sell that very specific product in that time slot. Problem is that unlike retail finance, any other product, the point of purchase and the consumption of said product could be anything. We just don't know when people want to actually travel. So search basically is out. Less than 1% of people actually search with any form of time parameter, like be it Christmas, Easter, May, June, July, whatever. So I'm trying to sell this Dubai holiday in Easter. How do I reach these people? I've got to blindly just bid in paid search. What we need to do is actually understand in the different media channels the other options we've got. A good example is basically tying it to a real life event when travel is likely to follow afterwards. Moving jobs. People will start going to different types of sites. They will start getting different content in their Gmail. We can map them and identify them and assume they're going to be traveling pretty close after that point. Very big one. Everyone's aware of this at the moment. It's not a new issue. Sorry. It's always been there in the paid media disciplines, but it's now front page news. Your CEO knows, your investors know, my mum knows. She doesn't know how the internet works. What can we do about it? It's not a quick solution. It is a big issue, though. So during the course of last year, it was estimated it was about 7 billion of global ad spend was fraudulent. Actually, it came out at about 12. This year, it's going to be 16. That's about 20% of all global ad spend. It's a huge amount of money that isn't going to be flat 20% across everyone, but everyone's going to be losing out somewhere. What is this fraud? Viewability and brand safe, you're pretty very familiar with. Actual hardcore fraud is non-human impressions, non-human clicks. That's your money getting wasted on a CPM or a CPC that you're being defrauded from. Huge issue, you think we could do that extra money. What can we do about this? It's not a quick solution. Who you're working with, be it an agency, be it a trading desk, be it a direct with a media partner, start changing your expectations and being very clear as to what you will and won't accept. Don't accept domain level reports. You want placement reports with creative, so you can start blacklisting bits. So you can see poor performance, blacklist it. I'll come back to the last point afterwards. Final point, and I think it's been touched on by several people already. We put in a lot of effort into our marketing channels of segmenting audiences. Think of all the different audiences you've got in paid search or display or paid social, and yet we don't actually respond to that once users hit our site. They're all coming in to the same page, be it the home page, be it the New York flights page, whatever it is. We're not tailoring it to everything we really know about these people. Like, looking at this, we know work's gone in to understand their value and who they actually are, and yet they're hitting the same page. So at bare minimum, you need to be testing CRO based on audiences, not just all traffic to the site, pluck out the high-value ones, start tailoring their experience to what they actually see when they land. Quick sip. The final sort of end product, and again it's been mentioned, is that dynamic site. So not just a tailored landing page, but actually once users get into your site and start browsing your content, start clicking on different things, tailor their journey as they move along. It's a lot of work, yes, but the uplift of performance can be huge, especially for such a complex product as travel, where there's so many permutations for what they can be buying, what they can be looking at. Let's say someone goes to the honeymoon page, then the home page, make sure you're serving content that's still relevant to the honeymoon. Just make it easy for them, make it idiot-proof, basically. That was 7 minutes and 21 seconds. Thank you very much.